Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to another episode of the Fierce Factor podcast. It's Kaylee here, and you're tuning in to episode 109. Hey, listen, before I dive in, I wanted to make sure you knew about a first of its kind educational event I will be hosting in just a few weeks. It's called PAM, the Proprietary Aesthetic Method. This will be a 3-day series of 1-hour mastermind sessions where I'll be training on the celebrated tool I have developed to help our clients design and market themselves by a proprietary process that belongs to them and only them. If you are looking to attract high-end clients who value your brilliance and are willing to pay top dollar for exceptional care, you'll definitely want to sign up for this 3-day virtual retreat. A PAM will allow you to position your brand in the market in a way that cuts through the noise, becoming the only solution to your clients' needs, regardless of who on your team delivers that service. If you're in a season of growth, be sure to sign up for this virtual event and don't wait to register. We'll be limiting access to only 20 tickets to keep this as high touch and as high impact as possible. P.S. This is not a webinar. This is a for-purchase workshop where you will be leaving with $1 million formula for developing your proprietary method. You can check it out at klcconsultants.com/proprietary method. So it's really interesting. I felt like I had to mention that this is not another free webinar. Also ironic because I pump out free knowledge all week long. In fact, this podcast is a free resource that I spend about an entire day per week brainstorming, sketching out, recording, engineering, and marketing. I create free Instagram videos and educational content. I publish free articles on LinkedIn, and I run a free Facebook group, the Fierce Factor Society, just to name a few. So I'm all about the philosophy of giving before I receive. In fact, I have testimonials from people who I've never even done business with. My industry colleagues tell me all the time that I need to stop giving away so much free stuff. And I get it. A girl's got to make money, right? But the difference for me is the meaning of free, because I don't actually believe anything in life is free. My little 10-year-old Luke came to me the other day and asked me to buy him a game online. He said it was free. They just needed all of my information, my birthday, my credit card number, my mailing address, email address, shoe size, I was like, Luke, nothing is free, sweetheart. We are paying with our data and ultimately with our money so advertisers can market to us. And he was looking at me like, Mom, what are you smoking? But I remember being 10 too and telling my parents we needed to go to a restaurant because kids eat free. Same side-eye look from Dad, nothing is free. And you see, my approach to my business is the same way, and maybe for you too. It's not all about the money for me. How I choose to spend my money is in direct relationship to the value it will bring to my life. But I actually treat my time the same way, and my attention and my emotional energy. And I believe the caliber of clients we invite into our ecosystem at KLC respect their value currencies in the same manner. But the reality is, in return, our industry is saturated with information, not value. Name a company, and with very few exceptions, you'll know who they are because there are a few I'm willing to partner with. Most companies are pushing their sales agenda, not driving a bigger impact mission forward. That is the reality. At the end of the day, we are all in business to make money, and we need to be realistic about that. I remember a couple of years ago working with a client who told me he was tired of working with average companies. And this was sort of part of the conversation we had when he was onboarding with us. He said he was ready for results. He was ready to be in a completely different place next year than he was at the very moment we were talking. He had been in business for almost 17 years and had hit a plateau for the previous 3. And we had a challenging conversation about what success would really take. Upon signing our contract, we made a commitment to each other that there would be no more talk of the companies he had worked with in the past, the average consultants, the website that malfunctioned, the device company that didn't follow through. Every single statement instead would be reframed to begin with I. I hired an average company. I made a poor investment. I chose the wrong path. And this is the kind of language that's expected internally in our company and of all of the clients we work with. Because what success actually takes is accountability. And this is why we have an application process when it comes to investing time into working together. Because if you believe your business happened to you, no amount of time or money will fix it. End of story. And I see it all the time. A practice owner changing marketing companies because one didn't deliver when the owner never set the correct expectations for that company or invested their own time into becoming part of the solution with them. Or a practice owner changing EMR companies again and again because they didn't take the time to really understand what they needed internally and how that system could best address those needs. Or a practice owner who attends free webinar after free webinar, squandering their time away, taking away information through sales pitches instead of committing time to in-source solutions with their own brilliance and investing money into working with high-value strategists. And listen, I've made terrible mistakes in the past. I've hired the wrong people. I've invested thousands of dollars into marketing initiatives that didn't produce a return on my investment. I've made plenty of poor decisions working with clients who drained my team's resources and my energy. But the one thing I understand is that all of those failures, big or small, begin and end with me. And yet too often we're asking ourselves the wrong questions. If I invested in a device that's performing below expectation, the question is not to ask, what device do I invest in next? The right question is, how do I need to approach my investments differently next time? Have you noticed that the same practice owners seem to have it all working? Marketing that's working, an EMR that's working, a team that's working, devices that are making them profits. This is not an accident. What is working is them. It's not their vendors that have made them successful. It's the other way around. It's the accountability to leading every aspect of their business and only outsourcing what is working, not just handing off what's broken. Think about your business. What's your biggest barrier to growth? So often when I ask this question, the response I get is, I need more patience, or I need more team. I need a bigger space. Yet at the same time, we have solopreneurs in our Pop Leadership Academy who are independently making their way past their first $1 million because they have applied disciplined constraints to their growth model. They don't spend more than they have. They invest first in themselves and their development and second into their client experience. The rest is extra. And in my opinion, if you can't run your business from an Excel spreadsheet, quite frankly, it's too complicated. It will not have the efficiencies to scale. And what happens is we get stuck in the overwhelm trap. And instead of slowing down to fix what's broken, we look to add more. Or we listen to voices telling us we need more data, more analytics, more training, more services, and more technology. What if what you needed wasn't more at all, but instead less? What if the one thing that would help you break free from the shackles of your business was simplicity? I've seen countless business owners go broke trying to look rich, trying to expand too quickly, and running out of cash. According to 2021 data published by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 20% of new businesses fail during the first 2 years of being open, 45% during the first 5 years, and 65% during the first 10 years. Only 25% of new businesses make it to 15 years or more. And in the aesthetic industry, a hyper-saturated market with an influx of business owners selling the same services as their competitors, these numbers are staggering. And I don't share these statistics with you to scare you, but instead to reinforce how critical it will be as you advance in your business to become intimately familiar with your value currencies and to stand as a guardian of them. period. You have the choice to follow the crowd or to blaze your own trail. Every single podcast you listen to, webinar you attend, vendor you work with, conference you travel to will become a distraction if you don't have a clear vision and plan for how you will apply what you learn or a resource to keep you accountable to your goals. Remember that no one will love your business as much as you, and no one is going to protect your time, money, and energy unless you do. At the end of the day, success begins and ends with you. Thanks for tuning in today, leader, and I'll chat with you next week. Wait, before you go, hey, if you're vibing with this conversation and you want to join me on my mission to help 100 inspiring and intentional women cross the next $1 million milestone in their business this year, or leader, maybe you want to become one of them, head over to Facebook and join our free community, the Fierce Factor Society. Over there, we're taking this conversation to an elevated level. Get access to resource guides, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me, my expert team, and of course, a society of fierce women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetic wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to Facebook and search the Fierce Factor Society. See you there, goddess.